thank God for the followers of Daddy Issues who allowed me to feel okay in my skin for the first time in my life, because my whole life I was more of a follower constantly. This was the first time I was kind of leading. But this time, something was different. This time, I believed in me. So it didn't matter what she said. And I said, no, she's a dumb What? Who are you? Who are you to me? I don't think so. Stay behind me, because that's all you're good at.
Today's episode is super exciting. We have a very, very cool, fun guest, Violet Benson, who you guys might know as the Daddy Issues meme queen. She's a comedian, a motivational speaker, which this episode is very motivational because she talks about her whole entire journey and how she got to where she is today. But most importantly, she is your big sister. She's got the largest self-love pod called Almost Adulting, and she always is a bestie in your ear. And today she's going to be with us as we're best friends in all your ears. Yay! So please welcome Violet Benson to Mean Girl Pod. Violet, welcome to Mean Girl Pod.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, even though like I'm not a mean girl, but
You're a nice girl,
I'm kidding.
just like
I'm
us.
a nice girl.
This is fun because we've never done like a back-to-back podcast swap before. So we were just on Violet's podcast. So if you guys haven't listened, you need to listen to that right now because I would hope it turned out really good.
I think so.
We're all like, I don't know.
This is the part where they're like, did Violet and Alex trade hoodies? Yes.
Yeah, well, I decided since we were doing back-to-back.
That's hilarious. You guys need to watch on YouTube because these two are like crisscrossing.
And the reason we couldn't swap pants is because we're both not wearing underwear.
No, literally, Violet was like, can we switch outfits? And I'm like, no, because one, I'm not wearing underwear, and two, I'm about to get my period. So I'm like, there could be blood in my pants for all I know. And I'm like, I'm not giving her my pants.
I was like, yeah, we can.
No, I felt relieved because when I said I came up with the idea, and then right away I was like, shit, I realized I'm not wearing underwear. And then in my brain, I'm like, what if something and then I but luckily when I said I'm not wearing underwear and that both of you said I'm not either, I'm like, oh my God, I'm with my people, thank God.
Yeah. Well, and also like sometimes we all leak and it's like you don't need my stuff on.
No, that's why suddenly I changed my mind when I said that.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, just tops.
Don't give me
Okay.
that gross face.
No, do you want to know what my gross face was?
What?
I was thinking, so I always think about, I sat on a toilet seat yesterday and there was pee on the toilet seat and I was like, ew. And then I was like, no, pee is sterile. But then I was thinking blood is not sterile, so that is gross.
So you sat on piss and you said, ew, wait, no, grow up, pee sterile, and then you kept sitting in it.
And then I wiped it off and I was like, I don't need to freak out about that. Like I was like, I'm good. But I also had a bloody nose yesterday and I was leaking it in a public bathroom. I felt really bad about that because I'm like, my blood could carry like diseases. Pee's a green light. Like, yeah, if we all exchange like.
Because you can drink your own piss.
Or I could drink yours.
Yeah, you
But
could.
You can't lick my blood. Like
I could. That's not true. That's not what Twilight taught me.
That's true. You could suck my blood.
We're gonna be spreading.
We're gonna be like
people.
Let's be blood sisters, and everyone's like, you actually can't do that.
Wait, so you can drink other people's pee and you won't get any like
No.
illness?
You have to thin it out.
Okay.
And it's obviously it's for survival
over here, like,
stuff.
can I drink
It's
your
not like you. I don't think you're able to drink fully the piss. I think you somehow have to weed it out, and you can. Then you'll still be able to survive because there's this thing called the rule of three. So I'll teach you guys. It's called the rule of three, as somebody who does loads of research constantly. And it's a very interesting thing and it's supposed to help you remember how to survive. Okay, so it's called the rule of three, and this is for survival tactics. So the rule of three means you can only survive 3 minutes without breathing, without air. So 3 minutes without air, meaning if you are, I don't know, in space or underwater, you 3 minutes max to survive without air. 3 days without water. So you will survive for 3 days without water. You will not survive past it. And 3 weeks without food.
No way.
For every human?
This was in that plane crash movie that I just watched, and they said that, and I forgot about it. I am past. Are you unconscious though underwater after 1 minute? But your body can survive?
Yes, that's what it means. Obviously, everyone's different, and some people can even survive maybe a little bit longer. But this is the rule of thumb for survival and the average. Because even 3 weeks without food is a really survival when you just can't move anymore and you're just laying there. No, but your body will still, if someone found you within those 3 weeks, to bring you back to life and nothing else has happened to you in that time, then you will be able to survive. That's kind of the rule of thumb. Obviously, some people have bad lungs, so they won't survive underwater for a whole 3 minutes, their body. But that's usually the average, the rule of thumb.
3 days without water?
Yeah. So
my gosh.
3 days without water. So that's why water is more important than food. And I think, I forgot which show a long time ago I saw it. It was a popular movie, and they kind of test out this girl to see if she can join their gang or whatever it is. It's like post-apocalypse, and they put food and water on the table, and they say, okay, you guys, you have options, pick which one you want. And all the other girls are so excited to get food because they're starving, because it's post-apocalypse, and there's like poisoning in the food that's making all the girls throw up, and only one of the girls reaches for water, and they go, oh, you're smart, you know how to survive.
Oh, so she was in the gang.
Yeah, she joined the gang.
Okay, let's
survival podcast now.
And now this is how to survive in the wilderness.
Yeah.
With Violet Benson. Okay, so let's talk about. I want to get to you being this like avid researcher.
Yeah.
But let's talk about first when you got to America and when you started creating content.
Right. So
In this brain of yours.
So I was born in Russia, and then when I was 1, we moved to Israel. I was born during communism, so my mom says don't even say Russia, say Soviet Union, because it was during the Soviet Union before it broke up. And then as a Jew, we were in a way kicked out of the country, and we moved to Israel. It was the only country at the time that accepted a lot of Russian immigrants, Jewish or not Jewish. And then when I was 14, we won the green card lottery. So that's a thing outside of America.
An actual lottery?
For the green card.
Oh my gosh.
How do you enter that?
You have to enter it I think somewhere in America, I assume. I'm not sure, but we applied through my mom's citizenship in Belarus.
Okay. Makes sense.
So it's completely so we didn't use Israel citizenship. We didn't use Russia. We used my mom's. And my dad's Ukrainian. So like we stuck to Belarus because there would have been less candidates applying from that country. So then we would have better chances. And it was because we went to New York I went to America for the first time in my life when I was 12 or 13 for my bat mitzvah. That was my wish.
And you had it in New York?
Well, I wasn't celebrating New York. It was more instead of don't give me a party, just take me to New York. I want to see America.
Smart girl.
And I went to New York, which I think sometimes when I finally moved to the U.S., people thought I was from New York because sometimes I speak in a New York accent because I learned some of my English there. But anyway, in New York, my dad applied, and he just assumed it wasn't going to happen because he's like, what are the odds that we would win? Plus, my father had a really tough upbringing and tough life, so he was like, nothing good ever happens to me, so I doubt it. Negative mindset.
Yeah, well,
have you ever heard of manifesting? Loser. I'm kidding. But because I've always been more of a go-lucky, happy person, but maybe because my parents always told me that I was a lucky person. Sometimes people tell you things you start to believe in and it becomes true. But that's one of the reasons they always called me their lucky charm, because we went to America, New York for me, and they applied, and a year later we had a phone call. I picked it up. The people on the other line were speaking English. Obviously, I wasn't speaking English yet. And I got the call. I picked up the phone when they said, hey, you guys won the green card lottery. And it's a whole process as well. But yeah, a year later, I moved to America when I was 14.
Where did you move to in America?
We moved straight to Los Angeles.
Wow, what did you get to choose where you lived, or did the lottery put you in a certain state?
My father chose.
Okay.
Let's talk about Skims, because Jordan and I were laughing about this earlier. We're both wearing it right now.
Yeah, I'm only wearing jeans because I can wear Skims underwear with my jeans.
And I have on one of their bras. So our most recent orders that we did was I did the Fits Everybody t-shirt bra, so what I'm wearing right now, a push-up bra, and then an unlined bra. Jordan got the no-show unlined demi bra, a push-up plunge bra, and the scoop bra.
I have the scoop bra on right now.
The scoop bra.
Scoop bra.
We have them all in onyx and in clay. You guys, the thing about them is they are so comfortable that we wear them to the gym.
Oh my God. All of my sports bras have now turned into Skims bras. I'm not even kidding.
You forget you're wearing them. And I typically like to go no bra, but that actually turns out to be uncomfortable. So now I like to wear a bra. And it's just like the Skims, you have it on and you forget you have it on. You don't have to go through the door when you get home and take it off because you're like, I forgot I was wearing it.
The other day, Pete was like, we were going to bed and he's like, you want to wear that to bed? It was like one of the Skims sports bras. And I was like, it's more comfortable to wear than anything else I own right now.
It's like a cloud. So you guys want to join in on the hype? Shop Skims bras at skims.com. Now available in 62 sizes, 30A through 46H. I love how many sizes they have. Plus, get free shipping on orders over $75. If you haven't yet, be sure to let them know we sent you. So when you place your order, select podcast in the survey and select our show in the drop-down menu that follows.
Yeah, do not forget the last part.
Did you ever move away from here or raised here from 14 on and stayed here?
Yes.
Will always be here?
I don't know. It's hard because even though growing up, I may not have had the best relationship with my father, now as an adult, with creating Daddy Chanel, that actually helped me rebuild my relationship with my father and find the confidence in that and the confidence in myself. It was a whole thing. So I'm so close with my family. And even when I wasn't close with my father, my parents always taught me that family is all you have. We're very Russian in a lot of ways, the things they teach me. So I always, regardless if I hate them or love them, they're the only thing I have. And we don't have much family because of the Soviet Union, because of the Holocaust, because of the Soviet Union, we lost a lot of family members. A lot of European Jews are this way because Middle Eastern Jews are just different than European Jews, completely separate. But so we barely have any family. We don't really have family in Los Angeles. We have like a far uncle. And we moved here because my dad thought he would kind of give us the ropes or whatever, and then he didn't, so we kind of all figured out on our own. Regardless, my parents always taught me family is all you have. So the point is I wouldn't move somewhere else unless my parents were going there as well. Like I can't leave them. I don't have any more family.
Okay.
I think that's actually kind of cool, like weeds out the thought.
Yeah, well, I don't have family, so they're like my only family.
Yeah, and you're just like, okay, so you get here 14 content.
What? like yeah, at 14 I move in and I'm like I come here, I'm like, okay, forget
Selfie.
English, forget adjusting. How do I make followers?
Like, was that always your dream? Because you have multiple very successful platforms. Like, you have a very successful podcast. You have a very successful, I don't know, do you consider Daddy Issues still a meme page only, or is it kind of?
It's probably both, but I consider it's like it's an OG meme page. I like when I talk to people about it and they get. Now I hear, oh, I'm so nostalgic when I think of Daddy Issues, and it throws me off.
Oh, wow.
Because
yeah.
You're like, I'm still doing it.
Yeah, and it's as if talking about, oh, remember the days when there was NSYNC and Britney Spears and Backstreet Boys, like the 90s or 2000s. Everyone's like, oh, nostalgic. That's 20 years ago. I mean, Daddy Issues, I guess I created now. The end of this year will be 10 years.
Wow. Is that what you started with?
Daddy Issues, yeah. So it throws me off, but I'm also flattered because they consider it such an OG page. So it's nice.
It's massive.
Yes.
Yeah, it's massive. You should be flattered by that, though,
Yeah.
to call it, I guess, nostalgic, because that means everything takes a while to build, which means you built something
And
great.
people grew up with you.
Yeah, that's really cute to think of. Yeah. But no, when I moved here, I wasn't, first I was trying to learn English.
She's like, bitch, I didn't start with content. I started with the language.
Yeah. And it's different when you move to a big city like Los Angeles. I think it's its own country in a lot of ways. So it's not you moving to America, fine, I have to learn the language in a small town. Like I moved to a huge city, and so that's already an adjustment in a country I don't speak the same language.
Massive.
English is my third language. Whoa. So that's like a third language I have to learn. So I was adjusting, and also when we moved here, I didn't grow up rich. I grew up pretty poor, so that's also another adjustment where you don't speak the language, you have to figure out how to make friends, and you don't come from money, so you really have to just figure out your own survival skills. So it's more just figuring out how to fit in. And I think luckily I take life very, like, everything is kind of funny for me. So a lot of my experiences, whether they were painful or not, I'm able to have a good sense of humor about it. And I always had this outlook like things are going to work out, it'll be okay. So I think that really helped me keep going. I would say that always made me strong. And then I was going to go, my degrees aren't, I graduated when I was 20. So I did a fast track where I got 2 degrees in 3 years because my sister was doing it. So I constantly just had to do what my sister was doing because my dad was always, putting us against each other, and she was always the smart one. And I have a degree in accounting and I have a degree in business law. And I was planning on going to law school with my sister. And I was on the waiting list and then didn't get into her law school. And they told me that if I wait another 6 months or a year, then I can apply again and they'll accept me maybe. But at that moment, I realized maybe it wasn't meant for me. And I'm glad that happened. So I decided to go the full route of accounting, since I had a degree in that. And then I pursued that. I got a job at one of the largest public accounting firms. I was in the tax department. Then I moved to the state and law tax consulting. So I was working with all attorneys who they basically have a CPA degree and a law degree. So it was it was really interesting for me to learn about it. And I really liked my job. I didn't start Daddy Issues because accounting sucks. I wanted to be a partner. Like anything I put my mind to, I wanted to achieve it. It was, and I thought my worth had to do with me being successful, because then my dad will finally be proud of me. So I did everything. Like it was this whole thing. You get attached a partner to each group, and a partner are the people that are, a partnership in a company. So I basically did all this research already. That's where I've always had a pretty analytical brain, but that also has helped. So, and also when you were in a larger public accounting firm, it's very structured. So based on my research, it would tell me where to be a good staff accountant, you show up before the partner shows up so you can be available, and you leave after they leave. So I would show up at like 6 a.m. if I needed to, every day 6 a.m. And then I would leave sometimes even 11 p.m. If he's still there in the office, I'm just sitting in my cubicle and I'm waiting for him. And I really wanted to impress him, but unfortunately that rubbed some people the wrong way on my team who didn't appreciate that, because I got lucky because I was always around. One day, no one else was, and I ended up being put on a project with him. And you're not supposed to do that as a staff accountant. So being on a project with him, and then he really liked working with me, put me in another one, like that started putting me in a bad light with my other teammates who were the female managers or female senior managers. And because we were such a large firm, it wasn't just local. There's rumors spread about me and all these things happening in multiple branches, and I'm not getting promotions. And you have to bill a certain amount of hours monthly. And if you don't, every month you get a list basically, and they grade you. And you will then see publicly where you're being graded. And the people who are the lowest on the list, they're on probation.
Goodbye, cheap razors, and hello, Athena Club.
And goodbye to razor bumps.
And hello to smooth, silky legs and underarms.
Yes.
It is unbelievable. Okay, we are going to talk about our Athena Club razors, because the best part about it, okay, besides the razor blades, is that magnetic hook.
I knew you were going to say that.
I'm obsessed with it. I just hook my little razor on that in the shower, and I'm like, what? Why have I not done this my whole life?
Can you believe, or will you believe me when I say I threw that part away?
Oh, it's absurd.
I think the razor blades are the best part.
They are. The quality is. So, okay, price number one. First of all, Athena Club Razor Kit is an absolute steal for just $10. And when you get it in the mail, it feels like the most premier experience ever, which that's the price of like 3 really cheap bad razors that last a day. But don't let the price fool you. This razor packs a serious punch. It really does. It comes with a beautifully made ergonomic handle, which is true, 2 super sharp razor heads, and it delivers an incredibly smooth shave every time. The magnetic hook, just told you about that. And then the quality. We are obsessed with this razor. I actually, Jordan had it first and I hadn't opened it. And when I opened it, I was like, oh, I get what we're talking about.
It's the only thing that's ever gotten rid of my razor bumps and like the bumps I get on my legs from just like irritations.
It glides effortlessly, as they say in here. And it is a multitasking razor, and this one moisturizes you while you shave with an avocado oil and a hyaluronic acid serum. Plus, it has built-in skin guards that help prevent razor burn, and it really does. The blade on my old razor used to get all goopy after a few uses, and it was like so gross and you have to throw it away. But I love the water-activated serum on Athena Club's razors, and you guys will too. So if you're ready to upgrade your shaving experience for $10, which is crazy, and you're going to get 20% off, switch to the best razor on the market and show your skin you care with Athena Club. Head over to athenaclub.com to try their award-winning razor and body products and get 20% off your purchase with Mean Girl at checkout. You can also find Athena Club razors at your local Target stores. Trust me, you will not look back. Happy shaving.
It's very hard. What is it? Cutthroat?
Yeah. I didn't know this.
That's terrifying.
So if those people, my managers, are making sure to not put me on projects, I'm not billing enough hours and I'm screwed because at probation after 3 months you get fired. And at the same time, I'm also taking my CPA exams. Like, so I'm like studying for them. So and I just never really understood. When you come from nothing, and as an immigrant coming from nothing, for me, my survival tactic is to figure out how to achieve it with hard work because that's all I have to offer. So I wasn't really thinking about socializing or friendships. But that's very important in the large companies, the politics of it. I never understood it. I just thought, well, if I show my hard work, like that was going to pay off. But now when you're not showing respect to other people that, so, and it wasn't, I definitely don't look at it as like I was a victim or anything like that. Of course, I'm so thankful they bullied me in order for me to create daddy issues. But I will say it's not in passing when I say that. HR was literally involved, and it got to the point that they couldn't even fire me because I could do a lawsuit, because towards the end I wanted them to fire me so I can get unemployment.
Right.
But they couldn't. But it got to a point where one girl was on probation, had to get fired, and was fired in the end because of her bullying with me, because an HR person accidentally walked by when she was screaming at me at a room, telling me like, you have to respect us. Like, this is like if this was high school and you're the freshman, we're the seniors. If we bully you, you take it. You don't run to the principal and complain to him. You take it like you're supposed to as a 9th grader. That's how you earn respect. And I was just like, and I think for me, I wasn't even upset. It was more like, okay, like, what do you say to that?
Yeah.
That's such a crazy, I did not expect you to say that at all.
I was not expecting that to be your past life before daddy issues and your podcast and everything.
Well, that's a very normal type of dynamic in large public accounting firms and large law firms. That is kind of what happens. And politics are important. I just wasn't aware. So yeah, it got really bad to the point that no matter how much I tried to make them like me, it was too late. And no matter what I did, like I bought gifts for everyone, and then still I put my headphones down. I noticed they all, like it was someone's birthday, and I bought gifts for everyone and put my headphones down. They all went to lunch, and I see, our whole area is empty because they didn't think of inviting, which is fine. But I think that was one of those first times where I was running out of being such a happy person. I was suddenly running out of solutions, and I'm a very solution type of person. Suddenly it was like, whoa, this is like, I can't, no matter what it got to a point, even one of my managers was my career advisor, and she recommended I get a medication to calm my personality down because I was too outgoing.
That can't be illegal.
It's not. That's why I'm saying how serious the HR involvement was.
Do you think, when you say, like, you said politics are important, I just wasn't aware, is that, why do you think you weren't aware?
Because I'm such a one lane type of person that I guess I just never really cared. I never understood that because I don't want to go to work and gossip. Like, I want to be the best. I want to be number one. Because if I'm not, no one else is going to help me. That's always been my outlook. So I've always been, I would say, a loner. And I've always been the type of person, once I see a goal, like that's it. I don't see anything else. And I recall towards the end when I was talking to one of my partners who was also like a mentor to me, and I said, I don't understand why they don't like me. I said, I don't get why they don't like me. I literally don't even notice them. And he goes, Violetta, that's the problem. You don't notice them. And I was like, oh, because I had to like suck up to them and I had to understand the hierarchy. And instead I just focused on making my partner happy so I can get more projects with him. And then they're like, oh, you think you're special or something. They're like, oh, I wonder why he's putting on projects. Has to do with her. It got to a point that I wore no makeup, and they would be like, your skirt did not go fully under your knee. It's like hitting your knee, but it's not going under. Do you understand? I can't take you to clients because you look how you're dressed. It's embarrassing. I can't take her on the sky. I have to remove her from this project. Like, that's how it gets. So it got to the point where I got on Adderall. That was when I finally got prescribed to Adderall, which I'm still on now because I'm dependent on it. I got on Adderall in order to calm my personality down. I stopped wearing makeup. I started wearing looser clothes. And I started slowly just getting knocked down so much to the point that... Am I interrupting you?
No, I'm getting my notes right.
Violet just called us out left and right.
Violet, you're not interrupting me. Please keep going.
It's I because of my ADHD, I forget my lines. If someone else moves or anything, I'm like,
Wait,
sorry.
so like, did you quit or did you get fired? Like, what was the...
No, well, they couldn't fire me. So I started getting knocked down so much to the point that it felt as if I didn't exist, and I was just, you know, coming in and out of work, and I would cry in my car before work, and but then I'm like, okay, now I have to just grow up. I can't cry at work. And I thought, okay, this must be what my dad taught me, the American dream, and I have to just take it. This is what Americans do when they grow up. I can't, you know, I just have to take it, and eventually it'll pay off. But I started to realize, I started to feel stuck, like I don't think it's getting better, and I was really scared, and I was really worried, and I got so depressed. I stopped talking to any of my friends. I just went to work. I would go home at 11 p.m., cry to sleep, wake up in the morning at like 5-6 a.m., cry in my car, and then do my work. And I was just literally walking around like disassociated from my body, and just I started just taking it. Like I stopped responding back to the girls. It was just, they think I'm nothing, and you know, maybe they're right. And it was just, and I didn't have social media at the time, and some of my friends were still trying to reach out, were sending me screenshots of memes. And that's when memes were just coming out or like becoming popular, which was the fat Jewish and fuck Jerry.
Yeah.
And when I saw these memes, I was just kind of like, huh, that must be so nice where somebody can just be funny and people just like their personality and they're not focused on their looks. Because when I was young, I got bullied for being ugly from whatever things. And then when I finally start getting into my looks, like developing better, I guess.
I grew into myself.
Yeah.
Went through puberty.
Yeah, in my accounting firm, I was kind of in a way being bullied because of my looks. Like, so, and I just never really I never cared about my looks. I think because growing up, when my dad, when we did have a good relationship, and he would always be like, your sister's smart and all that, he always said, you're really stupid, but at least you're pretty. So I think that made me then want nothing to do with my looks.
For sure.
So it just seemed everything, no matter where I was, it was always a focus. I'm either too ugly or I'm too pretty. Like, I don't care, you know? So when I started seeing those memes, I'm like, oh, that must be so nice to just be funny. Because in high school, I want class clown. So I forgot. Because I'm on Adderall now and I have no personality.
Yeah, it does that to you.
We just talked about that. Like, she's weaning off of it, and we like did an episode without it, and we're like, oh my god, we're getting like the humor's coming back.
Let's talk about ZocDoc, because there is nothing worse than needing a dermatologist or a doctor of any kind and not knowing where to begin to find one. So with ZocDoc, what you do is you get on the free app or the website where you can search and compare highly rated in-network, that's the key there, in-network doctors near you, and instantly book appointments with them online. I remember when I first moved to New York, I was so overwhelmed because I needed an OBGYN and I needed a dermatologist. And I was like, where do I start? So I used ZocDoc, and it was so easy, and I still go to those doctors today. Once you find the doctor you want, you can book with them immediately. No more waiting awkwardly on hold with a receptionist. That's the worst part. All these doctors are verified reviews from actual real patients. We're talking about booking appointments with tens of thousands of top-rated, patient-reviewed, credible doctors and specialists. So if you guys want to get in on this, which you should, no matter where you are, the most important thing you can do for your body is see good doctors. So go to ZocDoc.com/meangirl and download the ZocDoc app for free, then find and book top-rated doctors today. That's ZocDoc, ZocDoc.com/meangirl. ZocDoc/meangirl.
I've been walking around, I've been journaling every day, and I'm like, I'm silly again.
Yeah.
That's so, this story though about you is so fascinating that you like became, it's just funny because when we like meeting Violet today, I could never see you being like down to, like the environment almost won you.
It only happened to me twice in my life, and that's why it was so serious about me realizing. It would happen once right before I moved to the US, where it got to the point where the kids were, some of my old friends, my ex-friends were so upset that I was leaving to the US, and they started to bully me for it. But I basically whatever, and I'm writing a book about how not to be a victim, and I have to revisit certain memories. So that's how I'm finally now revisiting that memory that I completely blocked off, because I'm always so like, I'm not a victim, so never feel sorry for me. But it's okay to sometimes give yourself grace. But it's basically when you're younger as a child, that is when you start to develop your defense mechanisms and your coping and what helps you survive. And what helped me in that moment as a child was it got to a point where they would throw things at me at class and I check out for my body. So just things would hit me and I just sat there. So it's no response, which I, of course, would irritate kids even more because they're like, give us something back. But that was without me knowing. as an adult that moment created my coping mechanism as a child to survive in that moment. Because I'm like, if I just don't move and let it happen, like they'll eventually have to stop. So as an adult, years later in an accounting firm, I accidentally got triggered without realizing, and the same coping mechanism hit, where it's just, if I just, detach from my body and say nothing, eventually they'll have to stop. So I just start walking around like the whole world is in color and I'm just gray. And I'm just,
When they were throwing the things at you
as a kid.
Yeah. Did you feel it?
Yeah.
Like you felt it physically hit you, but you were mentally numb?
Yeah. I just had no reaction. I didn't cry. I didn't say stop. It was more, yeah. And it was hard for me to even revisit that moment as an adult because, I was just like, I always speak up for myself. I can't believe I was such a coward, but I understand now that as children, we do a lot of things that in that moment is what helped us survive. That's what I believed would help me. So that's exactly what I ended up doing. So an adult, I kind of did the same thing. And that's why I started completely losing myself, because it's triggered what happened back then, where after so many times you just think, oh, I must be nothing. Like they're so right. And I think that same thing happened to me then in accounting, like, oh, that must be right. So I finally just believed it. And it was the only 2 times in my life that I feel like it completely broke me. But the beautiful thing about, like, when I moved to America, something hit me that I said, well, when I wrote that story, I recalled that
BRB, the doorbell's ringing. We ordered food and Violet went to go get it. Alex like, can
you gotta go up the stairs and get it?
you go upstairs and get it? And I slipped on your carpet and fell into the side of the stair.
I took a photo of her.
Oh my God, don't sue me. I'm kidding.
Do not sue me. She's like, don't.
It'll be like a serious conversation.
I'm kidding. Don't look up California laws.
Sorry.
Okay, we have to go back because I like the story.
Sorry, did I blab on too much?
No. It's fascinating.
Okay.
It's fascinating because you would never guess this. All right, so
the point is, when I finally had to revisit that moment, because I always didn't want to remember myself that way as weak, even though I'm not weak. That's just how my survival method. I did in the end, the last day, I finally remembered that I stood up to them. But that's the thing, when based on how you feel about yourself, that's how you start to notice the reality. I hate myself, everyone hates me. I think I'm a loser, everyone thinks I'm a loser. And your memories will change. Because our memories, science shows that as we get older, we don't actually remember our memories fully. It's more we remember how things make us feel, and then we fill in the blanks in our memories based on how we currently feel about ourselves.
That's so interesting.
If I'm looking back at that moment and I remember myself as a loser, I started thinking that memory was that they just completely, got to me. And then when I was feeling good, because I was writing about it finally, then when I was going through and I was feeling good about myself, I suddenly said, wait, no, I ended up standing up to them. I finally said something and I said, you know what? You don't matter because I'm never coming back here. So it doesn't actually matter. I'm leaving you behind.
Yeah.
And because when I moved to America, I remember I said, no one knows that all those people didn't speak to me in my grade. I can start over here. And I did. So now fast forward to the accounting. It's the second time that I have ever felt like they broke me. And the memes kind of helped me see like, oh, people can focus on being funny. So then I created as my escape. Well, here's how. I so much did not believe in myself and I didn't feel like a real person that I started writing about a girl. So
it was you?
Yeah.
I was going to ask you if it was like, if you were like a ghost, right? Not like a ghostwriter, but like it was like your alter ego at first.
It was my alter ego. That's how daddy issues became a thing. Because it said the slogan was, everyone has an alter ego. This one's mine.
I love that.
And it was an anonymous account. And obviously, when I first created Daddy Issues, it didn't mean anything. It was just, I didn't think it could do anything. But it was just a fun thing for me to have for myself. But I didn't even have the confidence at that point to even have an account. Because I just thought I was so a nobody and I'm a loser and everyone can walk all over me and I'm poor and my boyfriend, of course, like is cheating on me and we broke up and like no one loves me. I have no love. My dad doesn't love me. Of course they don't. It was just all the like trickling, becoming so large. But then this girl, when I was writing about her, she was like so cool. She came from a rich family. She was loaded. She had all the friends in the world. She got invited to all the parties. All the boys liked her. I mean, she was everything I wasn't. So I started writing about it to the point where I researched where her parents would be from. It was like her dad's from this one place in England. Her mom's from New York. They got a divorce when she was 3 because her dad had a problem with tripping into other women's vaginas. So she had to move from England to New York. She just got out of rehab and she created daddy issues.
I'm like foaming at the mouth. So you like
so
role
cool.
played and tricked your brain?
So the cool thing about this, I feel like I'm saying too much because it's my chapter 2 of my book, which come out at the end of this year. But the cool thing
We're
about
like, well, I don't know. It's
by the way-
interesting to hear. So
Yeah.
But the cool thing about that is that as a child, when we don't realize our stories, during those moments, we create coping mechanisms that will serve us or not serve us for the rest of our lives. During that moment, I created 2 coping mechanisms. One of them was to completely shut down, like I don't exist until it's over, which did stop serving me as an adult. It just made things worse. Even now, I still have those moments, and it happens where my friends think I don't care because I completely just shut down. I like freeze.
Yeah.
But my second coping mechanism was my imagination, because when I started to check out and I started to imagine things, I imagined when I was a child, I imagined I was this assassin and I was killing the bad guys and everyone was scared of me. So no one would ever speak badly to me because, maybe they didn't love me, but they respected me so they were scared of me. And I think it was in a way imagining those kids were not bullying me. So now as an adult, the second coping mechanism served me again because I started writing about this girl and I didn't have the confidence to even have an Instagram account, but she's cool. She would do it. So in Daddy Issues, I started posting these memes. And because I'm so analytical and still in an accounting firm, I started doing the back end research of Instagram. And then it was more like, okay, which memes are doing the best? What's the feedback? And then I said, okay, so I'm going to give myself a job where every single night I'm going to go on Fuck Jerry and The Fat Jewish. And I go through 100 of their followers. And I like 2 pictures on each follower. So I guess technically it's 200 people. And I would like 2 pictures for them to notice me. So that's how we get, because obviously those are my competitors. Immediately I decided the Fat Jewish and Fuck Jerry are my competitors. Even they have millions of followers.
Yeah.
I'm like, those are my competitors. I will take their followers. And that's how I was slowly building my following while doing that. And I started to study the back end of Instagram where I could figure out where the glitches were happening before it was happening. So then if there was a specific glitch, like if you deleted a photo and you post it again, like they didn't fix the bug yet, and that will make your post like be up front or something. So when I was studying that in my free time, it was also helping me. And then I was like, okay, I need to make a celebrity follow me. How would I do that? Started researching to see which celebrities are like really commenting on all the other meme accounts. They'll never notice me. I went to their best friends. Which one of their best friends has the least followers? Great. I'm going to make that guy notice me by like commenting funny things on their Instagram. So the first celebrity follower I had was Joe Jonas.
Oh my gosh.
that is a legit celebrity too. That is so cool.
And you got there by following a friend, and like, because you thought the friend would like forward him the account as a joke?
I just knew it would happen. And plus it was anonymous. So I was also banking on that slowly because I made it in a way where I kept thinking, people are so lost. And living in LA for long enough, I've learned that everyone's kind of a follower here. Like everyone pretends to be a leader, but the most people are followers. And because I was anonymous, I started doing this thing where I would follow like a group of kids who I thought were really cool. Like at the time, like Rich Kids of Beverly Hills just came out. And we were all acquaintances. So I knew them, and I'm like, I'm going to follow some of them because most of them are losers, and I'm going to make it in a way where I'm going to comment such outlandish things. They're going to talk among themselves and they're going to be like, are you Daddy Issues? Are you Daddy Issues? Are you writing? And it was happening. And then they would talk about thinking they're so cool. They would give me followers because of it, because they would try to claim it. And then I'm like, okay, that was enough. I unfollow them. I find a new group of kids where I'm like, and then I did the same thing. Well, obviously I kept following Joe, but I did the same thing with Joe and his friends where they started being like, Joe, are you Daddy Issues? And he was like, yeah.
Girl.
Yeah, it's Gossip Girl in
form.
In meme form in this generation. Yeah.
And you were an assassin.
I love the
Like-
research you put behind that.
Yeah, it was really helpful. And of course, I didn't do this during work hours. I was still in my free time at evening time, but
It was such a good response. It was not during work hours. Yeah.
Wait, you weren't still at the accounting firm, were you?
I was.
Oh, I thought
So-
you like left that
Well,
place.
I'm anonymous, so I'm not making any money off of this. I
True.
can't. I don't have like if I don't pay my rent, I'm homeless. I don't have.
Yeah, that's
How
true.
big are we though in the first 6 months?
In the first 6 months, I think I started to grow. I think when Joe followed me, maybe I was. Well, when Joe followed me, was it the first 6 months? Maybe I was only like 60,000, 80,000
But
followers.
10 years ago, that was huge.
Right. And when he
Still is
followed me, I
huge.
texted my best friend. I'm like, girl, I'm about to quit my job. I made it. As a joke, because I didn't know you can actually make money off of it. It was just finally, like, people were laughing at my jokes. And because I was creating all my memes in the beginning. So
I love that.
I was making all of them and yeah, but it kept changing based on what other people liked because I didn't know who I was. So people were literally creating me. Wow. And then I would read comments and people would say, oh my God, that's so me. Hey, Bessie, that's so me too. And I'm like, oh, other people can relate to this. And it started to it was really helping my self-esteem. Like I've always said that about the followers of Daddy Issues that, I'm so thankful I was able to help them through bad times with humor, but they really helped me. They saved me from I really thought there was I could not see a way out from my misery. So that was really cool. It gave me hope again, But I think a lot of times when you hit rock bottom or what you think rock bottom is, it's silly saying, but like, well, now you're finally standing on something. But a lot of times when you finally hit rock bottom, you don't realize it, but something's about to change.
Yeah.
But amen to that because you almost have no choice. You have nothing left to lose.
You
I
have
feel
to
like.
pivot. Like
Yes.
you literally have no choice but to do something at this point. So yeah, and I was doing that for quite some time, and then finally the end of the year came, and the following year happened, and I celebrated New Year's. I didn't have a good New Year's, and I had to suddenly come back to earth, and at that point I think maybe I had 200,000 followers, and I had a shitty New Year's. I remember sitting in my room and I finally started just full on crying, and I was just like, I'm such an idiot. I really thought this could be something. Like obviously this is nothing. I'm still in the same shitty job with people who still hate me. Now it's even worse because they laugh at my memes.
Oh.
They all follow me and they think that girl's hilarious, but they don't like me. I knew they would like me if they got to know me. And then I was just, nothing will ever get better. This was stupid. I should just delete this account. What's the point? I don't even have time for it. If they find out, they'll fire me. And then suddenly I got this text because a few of my friends knew about Daddy Issues. And I got a text and somebody said, did you just see that article about you? And I was like, what?
Timing.
Yeah. And I remember I saw the article, and it was, obviously this is 10 years ago or 9 years ago at that point, 9.5. And MTV back then were huge, and this one girl wrote an article, and it was called the most relatable female meme worldwide, and they featured me, and literally when they said that, I went on my Instagram and I gained 30,000 followers that night, and I was just like, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. I went to sleep the next day again, 40,000 followers that morning, and suddenly that article gave so much momentum that within that week I said, oh my God, this could be something. I should take advantage of this momentum. I will quit my job. I will have to figure out how to get a job, and I will then obviously incorporate myself. So I created an LLC because I'm an accountant. So
Yeah, you
obviously,
knew.
Yeah.
So then I said, okay, I have to quit my job. This could be something. And at that time I was getting my first job. I got a job before. Somebody paid me $100 to do something, and I was like, you can make $100? Are you joking?
This is a job. The accountant you was like,
I was like, I get a free item and I get $100 to post something.
oh, so it was so your first brand deal was $100?
Yeah.
Wow.
I love that.
And I couldn't believe it. So then Bumble came to me. Bumble was just creating their app, and they wanted to hire me for one job, and their app was just coming out. And because now I'm like, okay, I need to quit this job, I sat down and I said, because a lot of times people go when they try to get something from someone, it's based on emotions. I really need this. You don't get, and no one gives a shit. The other person on the other end is like, how does this, I don't give a shit what you need. How does it benefit me? So I sat down and I said, okay, let's really think about it. What would Bumble, what can I give Bumble that they don't have? And when I did enough research, I realized, the CEO of Bumble is Tinder's CEO's ex-girlfriend. She despise that. And I'm like, it seems like they had a rocky breakup. She must want to demolish Tinder. She probably wants to be so much better than him. And I said, okay. So I created a whole marketing plan of what I can do for them marketing wise for the rest of the year in order for them to hire me as their marketing consultant for the next year. And I said, my daddy issues account, I know you're hiring me for one job. Give me a year and we will be the front line for all women Bumble dating app, and these women will forget about Tinder. Like, we're gonna shit on Tinder. Like, Tinder who? We're gonna make Tinder as if it's just hookups, and Bumble's where you get relationships. And they said, okay. So once they said that, I decided to quit my job and incorporate myself. And I quit my job the end of January or February 1st. And before I quit, I told my partner, I have to leave. He said, Violetta, if you walk out that door, you will regret it for the rest of your life. You're making the biggest mistake. What is the internet? Like, what can you really do on social media? If you work hard enough and keep your head down, eventually you will be able to get promoted. One day you'll be in my position. And I said, I think I'm onto something here. I felt bad to let him down because he was my mentor. And as someone with daddy issues, a man mentor is everything. Like he was my dad in that moment. So I felt like I was letting him down. But then I walked out, and the first year I made, with hard work, obviously. I hate talking about money, so should I mention it?
I think it gets inspirational the way you're talking about it.
We're very transparent too on the podcast, but obviously don't share anything you're uncomfortable with.
The first year I made 2 to 3 times my salary as an accountant, and the second year I made as much as a partner.
Oh my God, I have the chills.
That's insane. Also, like, you were in the, like, when we think like the OG influencers, you're part of that.
That's so nice. Yeah,
No,
I
you
think
really
so as well
are.
now. Thank you.
There was a set, like, you were in the time of, like you said, the fat Jewish, like the Vine era, like when everything was just starting and where people were starting to follow people that they see as influential.
Right.
Like, you influence people.
It was really cool. I ended up being kind of the it girl without realizing. My account really did become the it girl. I was in every article, news. What is it? Vanity Fair named me the meme queen, and I was really like, I guess now or last year was like Alex Earl. So
Yes.
if that's the term, I would guess I was like the Alex Earl of memes. So I did get, and I didn't realize how lucky I was. I mean, money felt like Monopoly money.
Wow.
Until it stopped coming in less, because the following year someone else becomes the it girl. You
Yeah.
have to learn that. But that was a really cool experience. And after a year and a half, because before she used to be daddy issues, because I talk about it as her. That was my alter ego. But then the more I continued doing it, the more my personality started to become closer and closer to her. And I'm like, I am her, and I became her. Now as I'm older, she's my alter ego again, because I've outgrown her in a way where I've matured. And it was cool because daddy issues also taught me, one, that I stopped caring about fitting in. And it was finally when I'm finally fitting in is when I realized how much it never actually mattered, because everyone's so unique in their own way. And that's what the followers taught me. And the reason it was really important for me when I started getting followers, I was like, oh, this means something. Like, I hope I can make a difference. Obviously, I'm not doing brain surgery, but whether it was with my jokes or now with my mental health podcast, it's about helping people feel like they belong, which a lot of people feel like they don't. And you don't really need to be part of cliques to belong. And it's okay to hit rock bottom. And I've always been very transparent. I think it's whenever I focus on making other people feel good is when I have a good life. Whenever I focus on followers or money is when I live a very negative life, because it's not my purpose. My purpose is to help other people, because that's what helps me. And also the second thing, the beautiful thing that happened from daddy issues is that it gave me the confidence to mend my relationship with my dad. And we have such a great, what I consider a close relationship. Obviously not other people wouldn't consider it, but it's close enough for me. And that was really cool. I wouldn't have had the courage before that. So
It's we talk a lot about groupthink and how a lot of you see the thing of all the fish are going that way and one's going that way, and it's like, but what if you're right? And I think your superpower was your perspective. And you didn't fit in, and you weren't popular, and you didn't think the way that, we're like the seniors, you're like the freshmen, you should take it. You were like different, and you took that and you make people feel good about that. Like, Jordan said this before we got here. She was like, I'm not so sure we're going to have to interview her. I think she'll be inspirational on her own.
You said that?
Yeah.
That's so nice.
And you were like,
Because I did my research, Violet.
yeah, Violet. And it's like the story you just told, it's unbelievable because so many of our listeners, one of our things we say is do it scared. And it's like the way you're like, I didn't have the confidence. I had to role play into the confidence. And that's like, there's nothing more inspirational than that.
Yeah.
That's really nice. Thank you for saying it's really nice because I think sometimes I'm so living in the present, or I'm so used to just giving all that advice and playing the confident character on the internet that sometimes I forget my roots. And it's always nice to revisit, because even this conversation, I feel in my heart, and I feel so humbled by my experience, and it's just it's a nice reminder to be thankful. And I mean, I think even in my tone of voice or how I'm kind of like, oh, thank you. I don't know how to explain it. It's such a sweet memory to kind of remember, that it's nice. I feel like I rehumanize myself for a second instead of always being like, you got to be confident, you got to be this, because it's a reminder, like, right, I forget sometimes how much I had to get knocked down in order to get back up. But that's the cool thing about how you sometimes end up giving so much weight to other people and their opinions, and it becomes your world. And when you finally decide to take a step back, or something accidental happens, and you get to see, like, why did I care so much what those people thought? Because now that middle school means nothing to me. The accounting firm means nothing to me. I have of course I will still have issues, we all do, but it's kind of this memory that if you just always true to yourself, like, you will figure it out. Like, it will be okay. It could be just a bad day, just a bad week, just a bad year, just a bad couple of years, but like, it will be okay if you make a change. And if you don't allow other people, because I was so lost both those times, that people that I didn't know who I was, the people that weren't sure about themselves, began to tell me who I was, and I believed them. And that's the scariest part, when you're vulnerable in that way, where you're not sure, so you're looking for people to tell you. And if you tell me I'm a loser enough times, I'm going to say, yeah, that checks out. I look in the mirror, I'm a loser. And then, I went on social media, and even though it was anonymous, these people are saying that's so me, and I go, oh, I'm like them. They seem cool. Maybe I am cool. So it was just this, oh, cool, thanks. It was a cool reminder. And I think it's just the coolest thing when you are your lowest. Sometimes the best things come out of it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people struggle with finding their authentic self. And I mean, sometimes no one ever finds it. And like, I know Alex and I throughout the podcast have like searched for it. And once you like snap into your authentic self, it's amazing what changes around you, the people that you start bringing into your life, the opportunities that come. And it sounds like when you finally like found your authentic self, all of these magical things started happening for you. Totally.
And I think it's so simple when people are giving a success story. Mm-hmm. For anyone else out there listening, thinking, oh, great, so she figured it out, and then everything, I'm only remembering now the highlights of a memory. I'm not recalling anymore, but probably the moments in between when I had a breakdown, or where my meme account almost got deleted, or where I just thought this is stupid, or when I was the it girl and then I became not the it girl again, and I'm like, what's the purpose of life? Or all the other things I tried in between that I failed in. People always only hear the highlight reel, and you have to, you literally do have to try different things in order to figure out what works for you. Like, I'm still constantly being rejected with my various ideas, but when I know something works, it works. If I don't believe in it, then I'm okay with it. But when I decided to write my book, and I told one of my agents, and I said, can you get me a book agent? And she kind of asked around, and everyone's kind of like, I don't know, an influencer, a creator writing a book. And then my agent said, maybe let's wait a little. But I was really passionate about it. I said, look, I know I have something. And I said, first of all, you're my agent. Like, if you don't believe in me, then I've learned to believe in me. But I'm like, second, I'm like, you're making it seem like their opinions, some random women who don't know me, as if their opinions is the be of all. Like, they know something we don't. How about we know something they don't? And so I'm like, I'm telling you, I have something here. I'm just in the wrong room. And I said, okay. I asked a different agent who reached out to someone in New York. And he said, I don't know. And my other agent said, just look her up. I'm telling you. He looked me up. And he was just, wait, I'm obsessed with her. We had a call. He got to know me. And he said, okay, let's do it. So that's the point. It was another time where I knew what I had was there. But it was okay that I was being rejected because I didn't care that they didn't believe in me. I believed in me.
You were just in the wrong room.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the thing of the professional violinist that he performed in Boston and it was sold out and the tickets sold for at a minimum $200 and he was so valuable there. And then he went to a New York subway and he played for like 2 hours and barely got any tips and nobody even noticed him. And it was like, sometimes you're just in the wrong spot and it's like your value, like if you're in the wrong room and you're not valued, like move rooms.
It's hard for us to obviously take that type of advice when it's happening. But if you really believe in what you have, how are you going to make everyone else's opinions, listen? Because years before I created Daddy Issues, my boyfriend at the time was a silly goose and he was cheating on me and we broke up and he I don't know, maybe he was getting with other girl. I don't recall. But I created a blog. And English is my third language, so I was always insecure with my writing at that time. I was always excelled in math and math logistics, hence why I'm an analytical. I tutored math for 10 years before I became an accountant to make side money since I grew up poor. But anyway, when I created that blog, I wrote about dating and I wrote about how the two girls should be friends. They shouldn't hate each other because of the boyfriend. Like, we should be friends. And one of our friends in the group, who was a journalist, she said to our friend in comments, she said, oh my God, what is she doing? That's so embarrassing. And I believed her because she validated exactly how I felt deep down. I'm not a good writer. What was I thinking? That is pathetic. No one's going to give a shit. People are going to laugh at me. She's laughing at me. Everyone else is laughing at me. I immediately deleted the blog. That's all I needed was one person to tell me I suck, and I believed it.
Oh, wow.
Years later, when I created Daddy Issues, very few people knew. She was one of them. When I created Daddy Issues, she found out while I was anonymous. She went to her same friend and she said, oh my God, what is she doing? That's like so embarrassing. Only that moment, I finally started to grow. You can't do that. You're going to ruin.
Oh, sorry.
This girl,
I know.
She's
I know.
on thin ice with me.
I think you should kick her out.
Sometimes I think I have the ADHD.
No, it's okay.
I can't
It's
stop
me.
moving. I'm a fidgeter.
No, I feel bad that I'm talking so much.
It's a phenomenal episode.
I love this story.
Thank you. Well, anyway, so because thank God for the followers of Daddy Issues who allowed me to feel okay in my skin for the first time in my life, because my whole life I was more of a follower constantly. This was the first time I was kind of leading. By being anonymous, I got to be exactly who I wanted to be. Why was being anonymous great? Because I got to say whatever I wanted, and because every person that started following me in their head imagined that I looked just like them and I was just like them as a person.
Well, because there wasn't a face to it.
So they created me. I was exactly who they are. But yeah, in that moment she said, oh my God, what is she doing? That's so embarrassing. But this time something was different. This time I believed in me. So it didn't matter what she said. And I said, no, she's a dumb bitch. What? Who are you? Who are you to me? I don't think so. No, thank you. Bye.
There
Next.
we go.
Stay behind me because that's all you're good at. And
I like that.
and then I just didn't care. I continued it. But imagine if that moment I didn't have the self-confidence, how easy it would have been for me to delete it. And then I would have never saw this opportunity. Imagine how often anyone listening or any of us have listened to someone else as if they would know better than you. They don't know you. How would they know better what's right, what's good for you without you trying? How would you know it's not going to work out unless you try?
It's so sad that so many people don't follow their dreams or do things they want to do because they're afraid of the opinions of others and random people around them.
I think they're afraid of opinions of others, but also that there's truth to it.
Yeah.
That's the fear. What if I fail and everyone knows? But no one's thinking about you. I always say you're going to go your whole life being so worried about what everyone else thinks. And then one day you're going to be super old and you're going to look back and you realize that no one was ever thinking about you at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you might as well prioritize your happiness.
Because they're thinking about themselves. They don't care. They have IBS. They have back problems. Like, they're thinking about themselves. We're not thinking, oh, you threw up on yourself, or, I don't know, you shit in the middle of the street. That's really weird. You should get therapy for that. But like, they're not, well, you know, if you shit in the middle, they're gonna think about it for a long time. But like, let's say you tried a wine business and it failed. Maybe because they're losers, it's going to make them feel better because they're not doing well in their lives.
Yeah.
But then they're going to move on, and then but you failing the wine business helped you get a connection, which then helped you create something else and end up being successful. And then what always happens when you succeed? Everyone comes back from the woodworks being I always knew you were going to be something. I knew.
They come crawling out and they're like, hey, how are you? And you're like, I lost your number.
Yeah.
That's right.
That your story is like that. Just look at that. I looked at it. I said 56 minutes. I thought we were at 30.
I thought we were like 20.
Really?
You are you're very, I'm going to read the book. You're very
Same.
inspirational.
When did you, I'm like dying to know, when did you decide to tell everyone that you were daddy issues?
I think a year and a half into it, where it was this thing that I think it was something about I've allowed my whole life being more of a little bit of a follower and always entertaining other people because I was always kind of finding my way. And it was the first time in my life that the followers have helped me know who I was, and my relationship with my father was working well because it was the first time in my life that I said, you know what, I love my dad and I want him to know, and I don't care anymore if he's going to reject me. Like, I love him, and what if tomorrow he's gone and we will never have a relationship? I have to forgive him for being the way he was because he didn't know any better. You know, I gave him grace, and that gave me so much confidence in myself that finally I said, you know what, I'm tired of allowing everyone else to take credit for everything I do. So that's kind of where it came from. I decided I'm going to put a face to this account because everyone else kept pretending it was them. And I'm like, no, not anymore. It's me.
Atta girl.
And it was a whole reveal thing, and it was a big deal. I was lucky enough that people cared. I think after that, other meme accounts followed and tried to do the same thing. It didn't work out for them. But I think everyone has just different paths.
That's so cool.
It's a really cool story.
Oh, that's so nice. I feel bad that I talk so much.
No.
We're interviewing you.
Yeah, and you were gonna inspire a lot of people. Like, even me listening to you, there's so many times where I wanted to try something. I'm like, no, people make fun of me, or like, it's I'm just not gonna do it. But I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do me.
Yeah. So what's the worst thing that can happen? You fail, okay, but at least then you'll know
Exactly.
that it wasn't for you.
Yeah, that's a lot better than laying in bed at night wondering what if.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people prefer that because that feels familiar.
Safe.
Versus having to try. Then you can actually say, you see, I always thought I was a loser, but part of me was like, maybe I always thought I was going to fail in this, but part of me was like, maybe I won't. And then I can at least always hope and that it could be different. But then you try and you actually fail and you go, great. It validated exactly what I felt about myself. But that's why you just have to understand, like, okay, it's a pivot. Like, I failed. No, it wasn't for me. I wanted to go to law school. I didn't get accepted to the law school with my sister. Thank God, because then I went to accounting. I got bullied there, and that was really good for me. So bullying works.
Yeah. So shout out to the bullies.
Yeah, you guys, like, if there was one thing I learned from my whole story, bullying works.
And on that note, we're ending.
I'm kidding.
I was
but
going to ask
obviously-
you what your one lesson is, and there it
Yeah.
is. I feel like you've given like 4 lessons, but what's your one, like, besides bullying working and being a really
I think
fabulous...
don't
Yeah, give
don't tell other people to tell you who you are. That's probably my lesson.
I love that.
That's actually like a really... yeah, okay, that's a good one, yes.
Yeah, no, I
I was
really
going to
like
ask you more
that.
questions, but it's like you have just put the nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
Like, we are... Violet, you are incredible and really inspirational.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on Mean Girl Pod. And where can everyone find you and tell us about the book that's coming out? Just like tell everyone about yourself.
I just feel so humbled right now. We're talking about this story. So my personality changed a little. I'm a little more toned down, but thanks for reminding me of that as well. Because I was actually going a bit mentally through a rut a couple of days ago. And it's always nice when you snap out of it. And then you also remember how much you have to work to get somewhere. You're like, oh, right. I'm
You worked
still
your ass
going.
off.
Yeah. And I can still keep working hard and figure out what's right for me. But anyway, people can find me. My personal Instagram is Violet Benson. My meme account is @daddyissues_. I have a podcast called Almost Adulting, which is a mix between mental health, dating, and other things. Also, Dave just went on my podcast. We talked about toxic friendships and friendship breakups. As for my book, it's part memoir, part self-help. Since I do so much research and all that, and I interview experts and things like that, it's always important for me to give proper, correct information. So it will touch on how to not be a victim, how to not be a victim in life. So that's what it's really mostly about. Just, and not saying that people don't get to be victims. Of course you can, but it's more of, okay, this happened. It sucks. What am I going to do now? Will I continue walking around like nothing will ever get better? Or do I figure out how I can get better, how I can live a better life? Because your life is much shorter than you think it is. And you might as well make the most out of it, you know? I think I've been able to survive this far in my life because I didn't pity myself. I gave myself grace, and now as an adult, I give myself more grace. I think I lacked doing that as a child, and it did not serve me as an adult. So as an adult, I do give my old self grace and as myself right now grace, but it's important to know when it's time to now get up. And one thing I think I've always been really good at is always getting back up. And I hope I continue to.
You will. You're a hustler. You inherently will. You will always get back up. But thank you so much. And I know that the listeners, like, I have a fire lit under my ass, and I know everybody else does. Yeah.
Oh,
thank
that
you.
makes me so happy. Thank you. Thank you so much for interviewing me. I'm actually really happy with this interview. So
Of course.
really
Thank you for coming on Mean Girl Pod.
Okay, well, have a beautiful day, and my book will come out the end of this year.
Okay, perfect.
Hell yeah. We'll do like a giveaway. I'm going to read your book.
Yeah, I would love to read your book. That's going to be amazing.
Okay, that's it for today's episode. As always, thank you for listening to Mean Girl Pod, powered by Just Media House. I'm Alex Bennett.
And I'm Jordan Woodruff. So, AB, do what you do best.
If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, rate, and review. We are at Mean Girl Pod on all platforms. Stay connected with us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and Snapchat at Mean Girl Pod. Podcast and social artwork and post-production by Creative Evolution Studios. Theme song to the Mean Girl Pod performed by Sergi Asbel. Mean Girl Pod, we're your besties in your ear. New episodes every Monday.